10 Xbox Series exclusives. There's always a battle between PS enthusiasts and Xbox players on whose consoles exclusives are better, and to be really honest, PS has been winning the prize for the last few years. It's time for the Xbox exclusives to rise up once again, just like how they did with amazing franchises like Halo and Gears of War. Let's look at 10 Xbox Series exclusives that look really promising. I'd like to also mention that this list isn't going to be in any specific order, as the Series S and X have literally just arrived in the market. Hence, most of the exclusives haven't been released yet. You know, you can't really tell if a game's going to do good from its trailer. We also need to keep in mind that many of the entries on this list won't be Series X or S exclusives entirely. They will also be available on PC, and considering PCs are mostly Microsoft PCs, that makes it pretty darn exclusives. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. Starting off with Ark 2. So if you've heard of the first Ark game, you'll definitely want to know about this one. Ark 2 is Studio Wildcard's sequel to Ark Survival Evolved, which was the first one, a multiplayer survival sandbox with dinos. The game fared an average score on most media establishments, but with a sequel, it set out to achieve a whole lot more. The developers mentioned that the overall gameplay idea of Ark isn't set to change in the sequel. It will still be a multiplayer game, and you will still be able to fight and tame creatures in order to help ensure your survival as best as possible. Which is a good thing considering the first one did garner a lot of attention and acquired a lot of fans for the franchise. There are a lot of different dinosaurs in Ark, but also other prehistoric or other extinct creatures, which you can not only make into your own large zoo if you wish to, but also ride and breed. It's not all fun though, as the survival game's title hints at is an essential point of the experience. Ark is notoriously known for leaving its players to figure out mechanics on their own through a bucket full of deaths, as well as plenty of stories of high-level players just gazing through weaker players' camps for resources. The early Ark experience can be frustrating, but it rewards patience and curiosity. And didn't we mention it has dinosaurs you can ride? This one is definitely something to watch out for. P.S. Riding on the trend of employing superstar celebrities as characters in the game, Ark 2 2 has invited Vin Diesel to be part of the festivities. Hopefully it isn't going to be like how Cyberpunk involved Keanu Reeves. Next up, we have the Gunk.
What we got? Another good-for-nothing space rock?
Wow.
This one's all brand new. The creators of the StreamWorld franchise have come out with a completely new game, the Gunk. The game mostly revolves around embarking on a new adventure as two friends who run a small scavenging establishment and who travel from one space rock to another in search of resources that they can harvest and sell. The story goes something like this. One day, they land on a planet that looks dead from a distance but is covered in a slimy parasite that corrupts its wonderful nature and wildlife. You'll encounter terrifying enemies and challenging puzzles on your quest to unravel the mystery of that vast and exotic forgotten planet, all while saving it in the process. Pretty cool, right? This one sounds and looks really promising. There is much more about the game that's been revealed, but from what's known, the game is expected sometime this year. Hopefully there aren't any delays in the release procedure. Following the Gunk, we have Forza Motorsport. Now, if you haven't heard of the Forza series, then you're probably someone who A. doesn't like cars, or B. hasn't played many games. Even if you're either of the two, you'll probably love how incredible this game looks. The next and unnumbered entry in the Forza series from Turn 10 Studios will introduce ray tracing alongside 4K 60 frames per second racing. Not much is known about anything else in the game, but we're sure that it will live up to the franchise's name with this installment. Can't wait for this one. Just look at how fantastic the game looks. It has yet to be given a release date, but will be coming to Xbox Series X and PC. Next up, we have Sable.
Come on to me, show us the way. I'm
Amongst many other exploration games coming out this year, Sable aims to be a coming-of-age tale of discovery through extensive exploration across a strikingly rendered, almost sandbox-like open-world desert. The general outlook of the game has you go on a deeply personal journey across an alien planet as the young Sable, the protagonist, exploring ancient monuments, ruined architecture, and ships fallen from the cosmos, all while learning the history of its inhabitants and discovering her place in the world. The pillars of any exploration-type game. The cel-shaded elements of the game add another artsy dimension to the game. And might I saw, it looks wonderful. The official description of the game by the devs is wonderful, and I'd love to share it with you here. I'll try and be as narrator-ish as possible. Only the inquisitive mind will come to understand the lessons held within the sandy confines of the planet's secrets. Lessons of life, family, and being a part of something greater than oneself. Sable is set out to release sometime this year. We're really excited about this one. Next up, we have XONE. Is this another No Man's Sky? I really don't think so. XONE is one of the games on this list that's already out, and it's been really raking up the likes on social platforms and media sources, which is a good thing considering this game is coming from Australian development newbies Expletive. It's been a good debut game for them. The reviews have been great, and the game also has been bringing in a considerable amount of fans. On to what this game's about. XONE is an interplanetary journey through space and time that's part of a mysterious narrative that unfolds around you. Mysterious is the key word here. Master a truly unique travel system and move through never-before-seen desolate alien landscapes in ways you've never experienced. Using the momentum of gravity to reach incredible speeds and heights, XONE also features atmospheric, diffused visuals that are merged with otherworldly sound effects and to create a truly alien environment. This game looks and sounds insane. Released this year, the game is something you really need to check out for all you exploration geeks and Xbox enthusiasts around. Following XONE, we have the Artful Escape. This one looks like a story-driven feast. Developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur and published by Annapurna Interactive, The Artful Escape tells the story of Francis Vendetti as he sets about on a multi-dimensional journey to find his true identity. Francis battles with the legacy of a dead folk legend and the cosmic intricacies of his own imagination. The Artful Escape is an action-adventure, narrative-driven, musical laser light battle kind of game with great visuals, awesome music, and a soulful message about what it means to find your true self. On a more basic level, the game will have a lot of platforming elements and is going to be more about the visuals and the story than the actual gameplay. Not much more is known about the game. All we know is that the game is set to release sometime this year. Now we have Adios.
Can do to change your mind.
Now you are welcome to try.
We can figure this out.
Another game that looks quite cel-shaded if you ask me is Adios. The cinematic first-person game about sticking to a complicated decision is probably releasing sometime this year, and I have to tell you, it has been quite under the devs that have been quite under the radar with this one. The story goes a little something like this. You have decided that you're no longer okay with letting the mob use your pigs to dispose of bodies. When your old friend, a hitman, arrives with his assistant to deliver another body, you finally tell them that you're done, but your friend doesn't want you to stop right there. He tells you that there's no such thing as quitting, so he'll try to convince you that you're making a mistake. How you respond will determine the rest of your life and the game. Interesting concept, but we'll only be able to know how good it is once the game is out. Next up, we have The Medium.
Even as a child, I saw things
that would break a grown man.
Another game that's just been released, The Medium really looks like a game that needs more appreciation. Yes, it's been well received, but there aren't a lot of people who are talking about it. If you've watched our 10 horror titles to give you the heebie-jeebies in 2021 list, then you'll know what we're talking about. In this third-person psychological horror game, you'll discover a dark mystery only a medium can solve. Travel to an abandoned resort and use your unique psychic abilities to uncover its disturbing secrets, solve puzzles, survive encounters with sinister enemies, and explore two realities at the same time. You'll delve deep into a mature and morally questioning story, where nothing is what it seems, and everything has another side. As a medium, you can see, hear, and experience more than others. And with this new perspective, you will change your perception of what really happened. The game is already out on PC and Xbox Series S or X. Check it out! It looks super fun. Down to our second to the last on this list is the Song of Iron. Another one that's already out on platforms. Song of Iron is a moody and thought-provoking action-adventure. The game looks like it's directly inspired by Viking-involved RPGs, but only to be played as a platformer, which is really interesting. It's like a deep dive into a dark Nordic world full of mystery and danger on your journey far across the land of myths towards the home of the gods. Fight your way through several obstacles like man, monster, and nature itself in this incredible adventure where combat is intense, visceral, and satisfying. You can use several means for a fight, such as a bow, axe, and/or a shield. Weapons can be lost. Arrows will run out, and shields will be broken, which gives it a hint of any survival game. The game came out in December and has been well received amongst most who played it. We'll only get to know once people start playing the game full-fledged. Check it out for yourself. Last but never the least is Halo Infinite.
Pressure building in lines 4, 17, and 33. Pressure building in lines 4, 17, and 33.
What's an Xbox exclusive list without Halo? I mean, for all of you who watched this far, you knew Halo was going to be here sometime or the other. The legendary Halo series returns with the most expansive Master Chief campaign, yet according to many, and the thing about this is that it's supposed to fill in a lot of gaps in the storyline, which many other titles in the series didn't. A little on the narrative now, the Master Chief is ready to confront the most ruthless enemies he's ever faced. You begin, of course, inside the armor of humanity's greatest hero to experience an epic adventure and finally explore the scale of the Halo ring itself. Halo Infinite is the most ambitious Halo game ever made, with an environment several times larger than the last two Halo games combined, and this is really promising because the last two games were pretty darn big. Players will now explore an expansive landscape filled with sprawling natural wonder, mystery, which of course adds an entire exploration element to it, and also includes a story that welcomes those new players to the franchise as well as continues the Master Chief's incredible saga, and also includes a story that welcomes those new players to the franchise as well as continue the Master Chief's incredible saga for the most dedicated fans. Halo Infinite is set to be out sometime this year, and with the kind of stuff that 343 Studios and Xbox Studios are saying, I'd really want to be one of the first people to get the game.
Please, don't die.
That's our list. Let us know in the comments below which of these exclusives excite you the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.